Today we'll discuss about Ohm's law. The Ohm's law states like that's voltage equal the resistors multiplied by R. We all know that, let's say for example, we have these resistors. In this we have resistors R, and it has a voltage V which cross current I. So mean that we can determine the voltage across this resistor R by using V equal R multiplied by E. That is the Ohm's law. Mean that if I have the voltage, I have the current, I can determine by the resistor, which is V equal I. So now we will see what we call the value of R is between 0 to infinity. Now, at what time the value of R is going to be equal 0? The value of R is equal 0 when we have a wire, only a wire. When you have only a wire, the value of R is assumed to be equal 0, the value of R. And this one we call short circuit. A short circuit is when the value of R equals 0. For example, I have this source, which there is no any resistor, there is no any R, only I just to connect with a wire. Mean that the current I will flow through to this wire, but this R is 0. There is no resistor. Why? Because it is short circuit. It's a short circuit. It's the same if I have this one. Generally, the current that produced from here will throw some here, some will be here, some will go here. But if I pass a wire from here, I pass a wire here without any resistor, this one means that it is a short circuit. Which R equals 0. Mean that the currents will all pass from here. There is no current will pass here. There is no current will pass in this resistor. Why? Because I short it. When I short it, all the current produced in this source will pass to this wire. Why? Because generally the currents will pass more flow in the part with low resistors. So let's say for example here it has low resistance because R equals 0. Then here, so the current will pass here. Here there is no current will pass here. That is the Ohm's law. We have also when the R is equal infinity. When the value of R is equal infinity. When R equal infinity, we call it open circuit. When R equal infinity, we call open circuit. Open circuit, for example, here and here. I have this source. Now there is this one. The value of R is going to be equal infinity. In this case, it is open circuit. And when it it is open circuit, there will not be currents will flow here. There will not be currents because it's disconnected. It's disconnected. The wire is disconnected. That we call open circuit. There will not be currents. Let's mean that if I have a circuit like this one with this resistor and then the resistor here. So if for example I just to open here, mean that if I open here, mean that there is open circuit. There is open circuit. If there is open circuit, mean that there will not be currents will flow here. The currents will flow, there will not be currents. The currents will only flow here. The currents will only flow here. But if I have only open here, I have only open here. So, and I close here. Mean that here the current will pass here, but no current will pass here. No current will pass here. No current will pass here. Mean that if I have a circuit, let's say for example I have a light here, I have also a light here. If it is in the same electric circuit, this light is not working, but only this light is working, mean that the problem is okay here. But if this light is okay or is working, this light does not work, mean the problem is okay in this part. But let's say for example now, only this, there is no current here, or the lamp is here is not working, and the lamp was here, the light was here is not working, meaning the problem is okay in this part, the part of between from the source, mean that maybe there is an open circuit here. So if we have an open circuit, there will no flow of currents. There will not be flow of currents. So now we already see the Ohm's law, that's V equal R multiplied by E. From the previous video, we know that P, the power, equal the value of V multiplied by I. Mean that if I want to determine the power of this element, I just take the value of V multiplied by the current flow of E, as we see before. But the value of this V from the Ohm's law equal, I can replace the value of V. How? By using this formula, Ohm's law. Mean that V is going to be equal R multiplied by I, which come from the value of V, which come from the Ohm's law, multiply the I of the second I. So I will directly found like the power equal the value of resistor multiplied by I square, another formula that we get it. That if I don't know the value of the voltage, I can determine the value of power by using the resistor multiplied by the current flowing square. From this formula, I can determine V I equal V divided by R. E equal V divided by R. So I will find P equal. Now instead of replacing the value of V, I'm going to replace the value of I. How? I will have V multiply by the value of I. What's the value of I? I equal V divided by R. So finally I get V square, because V multiplied by V divided by R. So I have three formula. The first formula, P equal V multiplied by I. Second formula, P equal R multiplied by I square. Third formula, P equal V square divided by R. Based on the given that will be in the exercises, I can use which formula. If we give me the voltage and the current, I can just use this one. If you give me the value of R in the current, I can directly use this one. If you give me the value of voltage in the R, I can directly use the value, use this formula. That is the power using the Ohm's law. Now we are going to see we are going to see series and parallel. Now when we have two resistors that are in series means that the element or the resistors are flowing with the same currents. Let's say for example I have this one and I have this one. I have R1 and R2. This one, the current will flow here is the same current will flow here. Let's say I have I is the same current will flow in this resistor R2. So if the same current will flow in these two elements, mean that they are in series. Mean that R1 and R2 are in series. Even it cannot it's not compulsory to be in straight line. It can be like this one. It can be like this one. Be this one. As soon as they are flowing with the same currents, mean that R1 and R2 are in series. Because why? Because the same current will flow in R1 is the same current will flow in R2. Now, mean that I have I1, I have I2. Mean that in series, I1 is going to be equal I2. The current will flow in the resistance R1 is the same current will flow in R2. So now, how to determine the resistance equivalent? Resistance equivalent is like one resistance which will be equivalent of these two. I can determine, since they are in series, I will just have R1 plus R2. Why? Because I have two resistors that are in series. If I had another R3 which are in series, I will just plus R3 since they are in series. Is it how to determine the resistors here if they are in series? So if I have two resistors that are in series, that's R1 and R2, R1 and R2. So as we see before, if an open circuit occur, means that all lamp or all resistor will not on. How? Let's say for example, if I have this one. If this one just to open from here, mean that there will not be flow of current. If there will not be flow of current, this one will not on, this one will not on, because there will no flow of current. Now we are going to see the parallel, because the element can be in parallel. In parallel mean that they are not flowing with the same currents. First, not flowing the same currents, but not only this one. Second, they have to be connected with the same node. We'll see node later in this upcoming video. Let's say for example I have this resistor, I have also this resistor. The current will, this I, some will flow here, I1, another I2 will flow here for R1, and this one for R2. Mean that they are not flowing in the same current. This one is not, this current, some current will come here, some other current will here. Mean that these two resistors, they are in parallel. If they are in parallel, mean that I1 not compressor to be equal I2. They are not following the same current. But we have to know something. The voltage across this one is the same the voltage of this one. V1 equal V2. The voltage of this one equal the voltage of this resistor. In parallel, if the voltage are parallel, are same, the voltage of this one and this one, the voltage will be same. So how to determine the resistance equivalent is going to be the multiplication of these two resistors, and I will have R1 multiplied by R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Since they are parallel, to determine the resistance equivalent, I just multiply them divided by the summation of them. So divide by the summation of this one. In parallel, the voltage across this one is the same with the voltage across this one. If I had a source here, this source also is parallel with this one, is parallel with this one. Means that V1 equal V2 equal the value of V. That is the voltage. That's the in parallel. Next video we will see voltage division and current division in series and in parallel. Thank you for watching.